What's up? What's up, melanated family? How's everybody doing, man? Happy to be back. So today is no interview. I'm gonna just do a quick news story. I want to update y'all on something that I've been following for a while, right? So I'm gonna break it down to y'all real quick. And this is about one of our babies. Y'all know I don't play when it comes to our black babies. When it comes to how this system treat our children, we all gotta be upset about that. You feel me? We all gotta make sure we prioritize that shit as something that upsets us. You feel me? So check it out. In 2019, and at that time I was more or less writing articles about these type of things, so I wrote an article about this. But in 2019, a 6-year-old girl named Kaia Rolle, she is a first grader at Lucious and Emma Nixon Academy Charter School in Orlando. Basically, one day at school, this 6-year-old baby was having a temper tantrum, right? She's kicking her feet, not wanting to do what they want. She wasn't doing what they wanted her to do. They didn't let her wear her sunglasses, so that's the main reason why she was having a temper tantrum, right? So she's having a temper tantrum, and a teacher or a school worker, because from everything that I've read, this woman isn't even a teacher at the school, but a school worker named Beverly Stout called the police, and the police came to arrest the girl because, and hear me out, arrest a 6-year-old baby, y'all, because supposedly Beverly Stout, a white lady that was a helper at the school, pressed charges. Now, later it would come out that there was conflicting stories regarding if she pressed charges, if she didn't press charges. I think she did, and when the shit got hot, she may have changed this, but she may have changed it, but whatever. So basically, the cops come. Now, the arresting officer, or the officer in charge when the cops arrive, is two officers. It's a black man, right? And let me give you his name. This month, Dennis Turner is the name of the black man who didn't even have handcuffs small enough for her hands, family. So they put some fucking plastic ties around this 6-year-old baby's hands. You feel me? You see what I'm saying? Right? So they put the plastic tie around her hands and proceed to arrest her. So apparently the other officer that was there didn't want to do it, but he had to, whatever the case may be. And it's difficult for me to even fathom this, y'all. Like, I don't see me arresting any child of any race at this age. But you know what I mean? And I try to remove race from incidents that I see at times, but that shit be just glaring, because when you look at just disproportionately how black students are treated compared to white students, all of this is in alignment. In society, like, this type of shit shouldn't be accepted at all. So real quick, what I want to show y'all, because this broke my heart to even watch this, y'all. What I want to show y'all really quickly is just the little girl getting arrested, like, not knowing that what's about to happen to her, and then the officer being so dry. The teacher that's here, that's watching, it's they seem like they do this shit every day. You know what I mean? So check this out real quick, family. Then we're gonna get back to it. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, because this our babies, y'all. And I've been seeing video after video lately of our young children, our teenage children, um, elementary school children being mistreated by specific individuals at they goddamn school. You know what I mean? So we need to be aware of all this shit, man, and come up with a plan of action, and how are we going to react to these type of incidents, because I'm sick of seeing my people get treated like this. You feel me? So hold on one second. We're going to talk a little more about it, but let me play a little bit of this for you.
You have to come with us now.
Okay, Kai. We
Stand
gotta
up.
go with them, baby girl.
Stand up.
Hold on one second. Let me rewind it real quick. In this teacher, I don't know
Kai,
what
you gotta go.
position this lady holds. This lady here is a black. She appears to be black to me. She's way too nonchalant. I don't know where. I don't know. I'm not familiar with any of these type of procedures, y'all. Forgive me. A 6-year-old baby. I don't care what state, what county, where you live in. Cops don't come and arrest a fucking 6-year-old who didn't just kill everybody. So why are these people so comfortable with this program? Like, why are these people so comfortable with what's actually taking place right now? This black lady said, well, get up, you got to go with them, baby. Go with the fucking cops because she was having a temper tantrum. You know what I mean?
Go with them, baby girl.
Stand up. Okay. Here. It's for you.
Your hands, okay? Come over here. It's not gonna hurt.
Why would you put handcuffs on a child this small? Somebody please explain this shit to me. Like, what's the logic behind this? If you have to detain a child, let's say you show up to a school, you're a police officer, truant officer, whatever type of authority figure you are. If you have to detain a child that small, who would put them in handcuffs? Who would put a child that small in handcuffs? Right? So the guy you see putting her in handcuffs is Officer Ramos, who, from his recollection, he's just doing it based on his boss saying he has to do it. What job? I don't give a fuck. I understand having a job and doing what you're told. I'm not putting handcuffs on a 6-year-old child. Like, not at all, right? Now, what they didn't know, which I'm kind of curious to even fathom how they didn't know this, but the little girl, the reason why she had the temper tantrum is because she suffers from sleep apnea. It's due to like her nostrils are enlarged or something like that. But why wouldn't you know this about a child? Supposedly, the students or the teachers around who witnessed this happen knew that she suffered from a particular ailment. I don't know why they didn't tell nobody or how that transpired, but they knew. So they're sitting around crying while she's getting arrested. Where are we at, family? Where are we at? I hate to push it towards race all the time, but I don't see this happening to a small white kid. I don't see this happening to a small white kid at all. Now, the main reason why they're bringing up this story now is because, unfortunately, y'all, this baby is 8 now. This baby's 8, and this baby suffers from PTSD and separation anxiety. So they said even to today, she's scared of cops. She isolates herself. So they may have just fucked up this child's entire life because of this incident, right? So where's the recourse as far as this system is concerned? Because I'm going to get to what we can do to help ourselves. But where's the recourse when something like this happens? Now, the officer, Dennis Turner, supposedly the day this happened, he arrested 2 6-year-old kids, right? So he got fired eventually, which is a good thing. But the damage has been done, family. The damage has been done. Now, this young baby has been diagnosed, and I'm happy they're talking about it. But imagine how many kids from where we from in our community suffer the same type of shit, just no one has diagnosed them. The same type of trauma, being harassed by the cops, being neglected by your parents, being in an environment where there's hella crime and hella shit going on. You see what I'm saying? So this is, and I'm tired of people telling me, people hit me in my DM, messaging me, telling me to back up off the racism shit. Family, I bring you information specifically for a reason. Like, what do you call this? This is a 6-year-old black child. Show me a video or show me an occurrence where a 6-year-old white child was treated this way. If the shit was fair, if the cops just fucked over everybody, if the authorities, if the system that we live in fairly mistreated everybody, then okay. But that's not the case, family. So this baby is fucked up for life for the most part. Dude lost his job, but what is that? The damage has been done. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not playing no more of this goddamn video. This shit got me hot. And this dude, Ramos, he's just going along with it, acting all nonchalant. Say no. I'm not putting handcuffs on a child, Sergeant. I'll walk her to the car. And this is why I think this could have been purposeful, family. The charges were dropped the next day, but they did the whole perp walk shit with her. They actually brought a 6-year-old girl to the police station, fingerprinted her, took her picture, let her go the next day. What the fuck do you call that? See, so I don't walk around feeling as if every white person I come across is going to hurt me or I have a problem with them. But there's nothing wrong with being aware that you're actually in a fucking system. You're actually in a fucking system that don't want your ass here. You in a system that's going to negatively, that's going to disproportionately affect you when it comes to a lot of things. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Because I'm reading all these reports about how, when it just comes to school in general, black kids are treated different. Like a lot of us knew this, but these are facts. Like there was a report done. Hold on one second. Let me pull some up real quick. Shit got me hot. Now there was a report through American Psychological Association, and they basically did a study on 2,381 kids. Right, 1,500 of them were white, 800 of them were black. Out of those kids, they just monitored how they got in trouble, their activities at school. Out of all these children, 26% of the black kids got suspended for minor infractions, which is your hair, your clothes, your dress code, something small, right? Only 2% of white kids. Now, I can go through report after report that shows we're disproportionately affected in the school system that we're in currently, because like I always tell people, excuse me, family, like I always tell people, 80-something% of all the teachers that teach our children are middle-aged white women who don't live around us. White people in general, in large numbers, don't really live around us like that. You see what I'm saying? So here's the thing, family. I'm getting tired of, like everybody else, right, of how this system treats us, the different things we go through. Now, this family, the article I read, I don't know if they got money for this. I don't know what the after effects were. It didn't mention any of that. I know the officer was fired, but the damage has been done to this baby, and it's happened to us. This happens to us all the time in different instances, right? So the question becomes, how do we protect our babies? Right? Because expecting this system to create something that can prevent this from happening to us the next time, don't fucking hold your breath. Because in Orlando, after this happened, they created some bullshit legislation, because before this, it was okay to arrest a child under 7 in Orlando. I don't know what kind of bullshit law that is, but whatever. It was actually okay to arrest a child under 7 years old in Orlando. After this took place, Orlando Senator Randolph Bracey and Kaia's family passed a law that makes it illegal for a child under 7 years old to be arrested. They call it the Kaia Rolle Act. I mean, so what the fuck? Y'all shouldn't be arresting kids anyway, but putting a child this young through the perp walk, scaring a child this young of any race, but especially a child that's melanated, based on all the other possible scenarios they may have to deal with in a life, just being black in America. So you can't tell me it's a coincidence they treated this baby like this, right? So the question, like I said, family, is what we gonna do about it? And I wanted to ask y'all, we need to talk about, because this was a fucked up situation regardless, right? But the question becomes, what age should we teach our children about the history of this country and the particular situations that have taken place? You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying if this 6-year-old baby knew about a version of like police brutality and how people who look a particular way is treated, I'm not saying she still wouldn't be in shock, or she still wouldn't be dealing with something mentally because of it. You know what I mean? But we just need to start turning our wheels on what we can do to prevent this shit, because the authorities, the police, the legislation that's passed, a lot of this shit don't seem like it's really going to affect how we're treated directly by people who aren't familiar with us, people who use stereotype threat when dealing with us. Like, we have to deal with this shit in every turn. And I'm tired of depending on the system. Like, I'm tired of thinking a particular white man is going to be voted in the office. Now our problems are going to be done. Unfortunately, y'all, I think we may have to do this shit ourselves. I think we may have to begin to look at how we're treated. I report these news stories, these injustices. Hopefully one day everybody says, you know what? We got to unify. I got to look at the black person to my left, to my right, and say, okay, I may have a difference with your ass, but we on the same team around this motherfucker. That may be the end result of all of this, family, because I don't think people outside of our community is going to miraculously one day stop treating us like shit. I'm hopeful with anything positive, but I don't see that happening in this country. So what the fuck are we going to do? We got to talk about game plans. You feel me? And that can be educating your kids. So if something like this does happen, it's not such a big blow, because not that they're expecting it, but they just have a better understanding of how the country works. You see what I'm saying? You can take your kids out of these goddamn schools. That's why when we talk about black businesses, when we talk about Black Wall Street having our own, all of this shit ties together, family. All of this shit ties together. 80-something% of the teachers in this country, 80-something% of the teachers in this country are middle-aged white women who don't live around us. How can we solve that problem? They're not coming to live around us anytime soon, not in large numbers. So ultimately, we are going to have to start looking at shit and say, okay, what can I do to affect change? Boom. I don't have the money or the wherewithal to take my kid out of this school and just homeschool them. Maybe I don't have the patience or the knowledge to actually do that. Cool. Let's just start looking at other options, family. You know what I mean? First things first, if some shit like this happened to your kid or any type of incident at school involving race, you have to jump on it and be willing to go as far as you possibly need to. I was telling y'all a few weeks ago about how my 14-year-old son, had an incident at his school. I had to jump in. I'm seeing video after video of authority figures at different schools manhandling black kids, treating black kids a particular way, but I seen a video of a black kid fighting a white kid. They just set the white kid down and attacked the black kid. So look, family, what are we actually going to do? You see, people always telling me to be quiet and not talk about race with them, not talk about racism. What do you want me to do? What should we do? We should listen. All of us need to get to a point, right? Because I have grandkids now. A lot of the people around me are getting older. Do you want your grandkids to still be dealing with police brutality, to still be dealing with stereotype threat, to still be dealing with subtle bouts of racism, more overt forms of racism? Do you want the legacy of your family to still be dealing with all this shit? No, me neither. Then we gotta figure out what we can do on an individual basis to maneuver around this system to make sure our babies are okay. And the first thing we need to do is unify a version of unity. Like however y'all want to do it, I'm here, but there needs to be a version of unity. So when things happen to us with people outside of our community, we can come together, we can maneuver, we can decide how people should be disciplined. If you touch somebody Jewish, if you touch somebody Mexican, your ass is getting taxed. Like whether it be financially, your ass finna come out and apologize. Like our strength in this country ain't shit. Just as far as, because there's strength in numbers, just as far as how we're viewed, just as far as when something happened, how divisive we approach a lot of situations. You see what I'm saying? Because if we look at it, this black cop, because again, I understand doing your job, regardless of what your job is in America. I get it. But my mentality and how I think all of us should be is we should be on some black first shit. Like the cop who was in charge of arresting her was a black man. Give me the psychology behind saying I'm going to arrest this black child. Look, we black before we anything else. Before you a Kappa, before you a doctor, before you a construction worker, before you a preacher, before you any of this shit, you black. And that I say that a lot, but that's a mentality to me. If I see a black child, I see myself. I put whatever my profession is to the side for a minute. Long as she's not hurting herself or nobody else, I'm gonna restrain her or help out. But handcuffs, treat it so dryly, like treat it like a goddamn stepchild. None of that's gonna happen. This is my little sister. I'm not gonna recommend putting handcuffs on her. Why? Then you release her the next day, so you traumatize this baby. You see? So if because again, this was a black man who made sure this shit happened. See, so all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We say these type of things a lot, but this is real shit, family. This is one of the problems that we have in our community as a whole. I'm not saying don't do your job, but you not putting handcuffs on a 6-year-old baby. See, this is the same way we get treated in our communities. Like people would tell me a lot of times that black people don't get killed by cops more than white people, or they're giving me all these numbers. When in actuality, the biggest thing, being physically killed is one thing, and that's horrible and it shouldn't happen. But do you know what happens the majority of the time in our neighborhoods? It's just harassment. Take your money out your pocket, throw you on the ground, like take your pride out of your goddamn chest. You see what I'm saying? This is the normal way that police interact in these particular neighborhoods. And then once I moved out of my neighborhood, I, for the most part, didn't necessarily have those type of issues with cops. maybe once or twice, but in my neighborhood, every cop that passed by, every cop that interacted with us was on some bullshit. You see what I'm saying? So we, as Black folks, listen, man, you don't have to be the kind of person that learns about racism or learns about the systematic deprivation of your people and start hating white people or start not wanting to be around someone that doesn't look like you. We don't have time for all that shit. But you need to be aware of the system that you live in so you can prepare your children. You need to be aware of the system that you live in so when some shit happen mentally, right? Mentally, you'll be prepared. Because as we know how this school system treats us. I just did an interview on the Melanated Convo YouTube channel and on digital platforms as well. But I did an interview with my brother, Freddie Taylor, who is the CEO of a company called Urban Intellectuals. And he has flashcards, like Black History flashcards, right? And me and him talked a lot about the necessity of parents teaching their kids. And he made a good point. If you know the school system is teaching your kid bullshit, if you know they learned it about Christopher Columbus, they learned it about Abraham Lincoln, all these goddamn slave masters and men who didn't do what they said they did. You see what I'm saying? If you know they're being taught that and you don't combat that with our history, you're pretty much complicit in the miseducation of your child. Like, that's real shit. If they come home with something about Lincoln or any of these supposedly fucking forefathers, these are perfect opportunities for you to step in and give information about who we are and where we come from. Because again, I'm all for us getting reparations. I think this country should institute programs to help us start businesses, to improve our school system, to change how cops interact with us, to change why we're arrested so much more than everybody else. There's a lot of shit I think the government should be doing, right? But let's just say they don't do it. Let's just say they not gonna do it. Then what? What are we left with? You see what I'm saying? So we need to start thinking about an alternative method. I have an interview with the mayor of Citrus Heights, California. I'm in Sacramento, California. Citrus Heights is really, well, I'm in Antelope actually, but Sacramento County. Citrus Heights is a city that's real close to me. I spoke with the mayor, which is a Black woman. And throughout my life, my later adult life, I've been hell on politicians because I feel they don't help us. I feel they all talk and no action. Like I would get frustrated with them, right? But I decided, like, all Black people, I need to give you a shot. Like, I need to see what it's really about. I need to see from your perspective what's actually going on. You know what I mean? If we find out you a coon, cool, there's a way to address that. But I'm talking to this politician like, hey, what do we do? Like, as a Black politician, can you just press a button, help us? No, it's a process where you have to get other people involved. You have to get other people's okay, and you got to do hella lobbying, and you got to do hella ass kissing. And it's a whole process that, from our inception, like since we came to this country off these goddamn boats. I know some people will say we was here first, whatever. Since we got off these goddamn boats, there's been small advancements. There's been some advancements to put us in a better position, but nowhere near where it should be. You see what I'm saying? So maybe it's time we, as a collective, decide, okay, we're going to start doing some shit differently. We're going to start loving one another, because I hate to say it. I mean, when we look at how this is a systematic racist situation that we're looking at, like, flat out, right? So we have to deal with the systematic shit. And on the other hand, we have to deal with, because we hate ourselves, because this system has done a number on us, we got to deal with the nigga across the street too. You see what I'm saying? So something got to give, right? Something got to give. We can't control what happens in the White House. We can't control what happens with these politicians, but with us, we can look at each other and say, okay, no, I'm gonna hold you accountable. If you in my community hurting people, I'm gonna hold you accountable. You see what I'm saying? So we got to figure it out, man. Like, arresting 6-year-old babies. I got granddaughters. Like, I got younger people around me. This shit's horrible. All of us should see this type of travesty and be extremely upset about it, willing to do something. And my question to everybody is always, what you gonna do? You're gonna be a part of an organization. You're gonna raise your kids better. You're gonna teach your kids about history. You're gonna start a business. Like, what are you gonna do to help us out? You see what I'm saying? Because I'm tired of cops killing people. I'm tired of these injustices where they go to court and it's a good chance they not gonna get arrested, and fuck all this shit. Fuck this system like that, man. Let's look at each other in the mirror and decide how we can actually move forward and help each other. You feel me? So this is your boy Harrison, man. Melanated Convo. Please subscribe to the Melanated Convo YouTube channel. Digital platforms: Overcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. All of the digital platforms, you can find my show as well, family. We're gonna keep riding. We're gonna keep doing this thing. Again, this is your boy Harrison. I'm out.